All right, guys, we got a 12-team Superflex PPR 1.75 tight end premium start 10. Scott, are you going Jalen Hurts in a 25 second or Jordan Love in the 104? Go ahead, man.
Well, if you listen to our Mannequin Chill from last week, we gave our opinions on the 101 through 104. 104, for those that are listening, is an extremely valuable pick that could be first-round startup pick, damn near close to it. My latest tectonic transactions on Destination Devy, you could find at destinationdevy.com. I talk about do not trade a top 6 pick if you have it, unless someone is giving you, what, Shane, a top 10 player?
Yes.
Top 12 player, something like that. And in most leagues, what I've found is when you say, I need CeeDee Lamb or Amon-Ra St. Brown for the 105, the person goes, there's no way. That's a rookie pick. I don't know what that's going to be. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know where they're going to be playing. So to circle back to this trade, Jordan Love is apparently now an elite quarterback. Can't argue with it. He's been extremely impressive. I still don't know if his fantasy ceiling is consistently like as high as it's been this year, but hey, top 10 quarterback this year as his first year as a starter. You're also getting the 104. I'm not saying that's Jalen Hurts, but for the sake of, I want the side of Jordan Love and 104 for the next 6 months because it's funner to play in the sandbox with.
Right.
Give me that side. And Jalen Hurts could not have ended the season worse. I think there's a lot of negative mojo on his team, him, his situation. I mean, Shane can speak to that, obviously, because he's an Eagles fan, but it just feels like the name Jalen Hurts does not carry that weight in a league, whereas Jordan Love and having that 104 could get you a long way. So I'm taking that side pretty easily. The second, sure, I wish I had the second back, but I'd be willing to kick it in if I got 2 premier assets.
Shane, where you at on this one, man?
Yeah, so it's kind of rough because I was driving around.
It's tough for you, the birds.
I was driving around all day, and I had to listen to Philadelphia sports radio. And Jalen Hurts, according to the Philadelphia fans, horrible, terrible leadership. It was never that good. Mostly everything that happened was his fault, and if it wasn't, then it's Sirianni's fault. And if it's not, they both conspired together to purposely be bad at football. Is basically the gist I got from the geniuses that call in WIP. That said, the 104 is just so valuable that, it's the 104 and Jordan Love, who's the QB9. So even if I don't believe in Jordan Love, let me turn around and flip him for another quarterback and tear down and get another pick. And then at the 104, get someone that I keep, creaming all over myself about, Jaden Daniels. I don't know if he'll be there at that point, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get a monster piece. And then I can flip Love, even if I don't believe in him, because quite frankly, his throwing motion is one of the most disconcerting things I've ever seen in my life on the football field. Everything looks like a shot put, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, did you guys see the comments in the last video, the 1 through 4, the first part of the Mannequin Chill, 101 or Jalen Hurts? That was interesting in the comments. Shane, you chimed in there and you were like, no, I'm not giving the 101 for Jalen Hurts right now. Is that the case?
Yeah, that's still the case. I'm not giving the 101, but there's not many people that I would give the 101 for. You know what I mean? Josh Allen.
Well, Hurts used to be in that conversation until when, the last 2 weeks or so, Shane?
No, I mean, honestly, he's been struggling all year. He papered it over with 15 rushing touchdowns, which helped. But he had been on the struggle bus all year. And like Scott said, there's a lot of questions as to what's going to happen as far as the offense there. They do need a new play caller there, someone that I don't know, has heard of motion and things like that, crazy things that the Eagles don't do. Philly Sports Radio today was absolutely brutal. It was, I'll just say that.
I'm sure it was.
If you want to torture yourself, just listen to Philadelphia Sports Radio. Is usually bad, and the callers are usually pretty insipid. But today was a special one. But no, I mean, he really struggled all year. Part of it's the value, right?
Right.
Well, I'm not going to speak for Shane on this, but
probably the QB too.
He's stuck anyway, right, so I'm going to mute him.
I hear him talking, and then I see him frozen. I'm like, what is going on? I think that. So here's the funny thing: Shane disappears and makes the overlay awkward. But so when you're evaluating 101 versus Jalen Hurts, or someone asked me a question earlier today about 101 versus Justin Jefferson and what do you have to add? And I think this is where you got to know your league. You got to kind of know what the pulse is on those picks. And generally, when we look through teams, hi, Shane, you are back.
Shane.
There we go. Now it feels like I can make my point, and it feels like
ahead.
it's back to where it
Yeah,
should.
Exactly. And we can make a reel out of this if it's properly
Yes.
said. Go for it.
Well, so here's the thing. You kind of got to get the pulse of what the teams in the range that could trade for the 101 or have the 101 need, right? Because like you just said, you wouldn't trade the 101 for Jalen Hurts, yet Jalen Hurts is like QB4 or QB5 in Dynasty, right? But then someone asked earlier, what do I have to add to the 101 to get Justin Jefferson? And it was like, do I add a late first? But I think it's because the person that is probably trading the pick or asking this question, they've kind of already penciled in Marvin Harrison, Caleb Williams. And so they're comparing that player to the other veterans that are out there at the same position, right? Whereas what we don't talk about is the value of the 101 between now and May. It could be Marvin Harrison. It could be Caleb Williams. It could be one of a dozen trades that could come in your way that could be anything. And there has to be part of the value that's attached to the 101 that isn't committed to a position. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, they are a receiver. It's already that.
Yep.
Same with Jalen Hurts, right? So you kind of have to decide, like, is this the league where I want to take a quarterback? In that case, I'd be willing to trade the 101 for a handful of quarterbacks. But if I'm like, I don't care, I'm just looking for the best value, I'm not in a hurry, like Shane said, to trade it for, it's got to be a top 10 asset. That has to be on the table. That's a no-brainer before the conversation even starts.
Yeah, if it makes sense for my team, I'd pay the 101 for Jalen Hurts. I'm still a believer. Okay, so this is a smaller format. 10-team, Superflex, PPR, 1.75, tight end premium, start 9. Shane's favorite, George Pickens, Pacheco, and the 203, or Chris Olave and the 304. Shane, let's start with you, man. Couple names you love in here.
And I'm not even going to dignify this with a response, but I will say that it's Olave.
Start 9-10 team. I mean, when I was putting this together, I was like, Pickens is a fringe and Pacheco is a fringe.
And here's the reality: Olave is a fringe.
No, he's not. You're a fringe.
His value might be a little bit higher, but it's a 10-team start 9. The threshold is like, I got to be guaranteed top 15 to 20 at receiver to be a locked-in starter here.
Okay, I'm just going to say this: buy all the cheap Olave you can buy, because I have seen rankings all over the internets where it's like, oh, I've got everybody and their mom ranked above Chris Olave. Chris Olave is like wide receiver 20. It's not even that,
Shane. It is a format where if I'm trading assets, my goal here is I could acknowledge all 5 of these assets could be potentially outside of the guaranteed starter threshold. You vibing with me there, Clay? Like, it's a 10-team start 9. So I'm looking at the trade. Forget about the players. What side can I do more with? What player can I take to the market and go get something better than what's in this trade?
It ain't George Pickens and Pacheco in the 203 and a start 9.
Is it Chris Olave in the 304? Yeah. Can I go to the Amon-Ra St. Brown manager and go get a guy like that, kick in a second, and they accept it? Can I tear up with Chris Olave?
Absolutely no one in this deal is getting me Amon-Ra St. Brown unless I somehow have George Pickens and Chris Olave on the same side.
But I need to get into the top. I need to get into the top 30 or 40 assets probably to matter here. So what side can get me more? What side can I go create more value with and then go get more?
If it's Pickens, then that's a shame, because then the market is as stupid as they look, because it's Chris Olave. One of those dudes had an absolute monster rookie season. One of those dudes had a ton of unrealized air yards last year. One of those dudes still was a target monster last year. That it wasn't George Pickens. It wasn't.
Yeah, he's got a market, though.
What happened to George Pickens in the playoffs? He got cucked again.
I'm just asking this question. Clay, can I go get a 25 first for George Pickens?
Good chance. A solid chance.
can I go get at least a second or 2 seconds for Pacheco?
Pacheco. Yeah. And then the 203.
And now I have the 203, and now I have a 25 first and 3 seconds. Can that give me more than Chris Olave?
No.
That's where I'm disagreeing with Shane on this. I think if I have all 4 of those picks and I'm sending them to somebody, I have a better shot at getting something better than if I say, hey, what does Chris Olave in the 304 get me?
The 304 is inconsequential. So
it's one side or the other, Shane.
It doesn't. No, and it's the Chris Olave side is the one I own. So what I'll do is if I want to tier up from Chris Olave, then I'll have to add a better asset than the 304 because, well, I don't think I'm playing with children, and the people that I'm playing with will understand that a 304 is near worthless in the context of this league.
So Shane just altered the trade and added something to the 304 and Olave side.
Every league, because every trade's got context. There's no stop point.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? It's not like you make this trade and then nothing can ever happen again, right? You should be thinking of, if I don't make this trade or if I do make this trade, what else could I do with the assets that are in this trade? What can I do with the assets that I get back in this trade, etc.
Not to continue on this topic, but one more point. I think when you're dealing with trades that are outside of the threshold of what you would determine matters, you have to look at the trade of forget the players.
Yeah, right.
Right? It's a shallow league, and I'm trading all wide receiver 2s, 3s, 4s, running back 2s. What can I do more with versus the players in the deal?
Yeah,
I think sometimes we get trades, and it's like the side really doesn't matter. What side can I do more with? And I think in that case, it might be the package of the picks and Pacheco and Pickens.
I like
Did you put this up here, Shane?
Yeah, because Mr. B. You don't get to use words fungible against me. I created that word.
Mr. B just crushed you in this, Shane. I think he agrees with me with this response.
No. Because there's a second part.
He says, if you can get. Yeah, if you can get a 25 first for Pickens and 2 seconds for Pacheco, that's more fungible than the single player of Olave. Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't even have to be 2 seconds for Pacheco. Let's say it's even a second and a third, 25 first for Pickens. I don't know. Pickens he's got a market. That's why I put him up there. Shane loves him and obviously loves Chris Olave too. Let's go to Mr. Neto. Thank you very much for your super chat. Shane did the Brazilian conversion, and so we found out what it was. Thank you very much. 12-team super flex, start 11. Juedy and the 112 or Rachaad White?
Start 11.
What do you think, Scott? Start 11.
It's the package. Easy. I'm paying a pick that has a 1 in front of it for a running back, and I'm getting Juedy for free, which whether you like him or not, there's going to be a shot where you can, just like Isaiah Pacheco. Hey, all of a sudden in 2 months, I can get a second for Juedy. So give me that side pretty easily.
What do you think, Shane? Which side? Package? You're zoned out reading something.
I'm reading the comments. I love the comments. They're keeping me entertained tonight. They're feisty in there tonight. I like it.
Yeah, so are you. It's translating onto the screen from you as well. Go ahead.
No. I'm pretty calm. Juedy, let's see. He is worthless. 112. It's start 11. The problem is it's start 11, so I have to go 112 and Juedy, right? Because I know Rachaad White can't do better than that. Like, I know that in every league we're in that I wasn't in it anymore, that I had Rachaad White when I was trying to sell him for literally just any first, and people were basically laughing at me and calling me names. So
start 9. Are you taking Rachaad White, Juedy in the 112, or Rachaad White in the start 9, 12 team?
Rachaad White.
Yeah, probably because he locks you probably into a spot where you know you're getting a starter, but you never know. Again, I don't care if it's a start 9. Can I take the first and Juedy to somewhere and get a better player? Like, you have to ask yourself those questions now. I'm not looking at my starting lineup going, oh, I need a running back. Rachaad White fits in there. Let me just trade for him.
Here, I got a trade for you guys.
Go ahead.
Can't put up a schism. I don't know the settings, but you two probably do. It's the Dynasty Trades in 5 OG League.
Oh, the one I just won. Yeah. I know it well. Go ahead.
I am being offered Jalen Hurts, a 26 first, T-Ron Higgins, and a 25 third for the 101 and the 103.
T. Higgins, Jalen Hurts. Who was the second piece you named?
The 26 first.
26 first.
Now it's a 14-team start 11, so that changes the scope a little bit on what's probably someone is chasing at the 101 and the 103. Shane, you are giving up 2 potential top 12
I
quarterbacks with those picks.
I'm not giving up the 101 and 103. I'm going to find some.
One of those
You'll
is Marvin
throw around a
Harrison.
bunch of other trades.
Yeah, one of the. I was going to decline it anyway. I just thought it'd be fun to
Yeah.
talk about. No, but one of those is Harrison, and then the other one is either Williams or Daniels. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Good coin.
Shane, have you looked at your roster?
Is it
Yeah, it's not
trash
good.
in the
It's
OG?
not good.
there?
His best quarterback is Kyle Trask.
He could still win that. He could still win that competition.
You can't be affording to trade like multiple firsts. If your first quarterback is Kyle Trask, that's how trash canny your team is.
Yeah,
I know. I want Shane to talk through this because he has no quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and he's already committed. One of those picks is clearly not going to be a quarterback, right?
Most likely.
Right. So it's interesting. So in a 14-teamer, you're not taking Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. You're going for Marvin Harrison.
Well,
he's not going to have all those picks.
Yeah.
He's not going to
right
have
now. I have 1,
right now.
2, 3, 4. I have 5 first-round picks.
Ooh, yes. We could do something because I've got the 105 and the 110. So we could do a little something. 105 is still attractive.
Yeah. Clay, would you give up the 105 and the 110 for the 103, Clay?
I was thinking about that. The answer is probably yes, because I have 225 first too.
And that would give Shane 3 back-to-backs.
I know.
10. Man, that's a trade on air.
I've
never seen one.
I gotta be honest with you. That's a deal I'd make. Yes. Now that would force me at 101. I'd have to go quarterback. It could no longer be Marvin Harrison as my original plan was.
But you have 105, means
Nabers.
You probably get Malik Nabers unless they leave you a QB. So I think you're still in a good spot.
Still very good spot. Plus,
interesting.
87 other first-round draft picks.
I expect that deal to be done in the next 5 minutes because you both literally agreed to it on this stream. So
wait, I didn't. I said
you both said probably yes. So what's holding you back?
I agreed.
Does the crowd think that I said
yes?
Well, I was thinking about it literally in bed last night. It was like late, and I was just scrolling through the sleeper lineups.
That sounds like it was an offer in the state of Pennsylvania. A verbal offer is a binding contract.
Yeah, well, just Nate, send it. Send it over.
Yeah, Nate. You know what? I will. I'll keep track of all my moves in this league.
Let's go. We got a live deal, and it was organic.
Add a little. Be smart. Add a little sweetener. Okay.
I add it. Yeah, sure. I'll get a third.
Kyle Trask.
Okay.
Then I have no quarterbacks. Anyway, we've got super chat. Let's get to them.
Yeah. We haven't started off a stream like this in forever. Normally we don't F around like this until 45 minutes in. Nathan, thank you very much for your super chat. It's a 12-team super flex, start 9 PPR, Hurts, Stroud, TLaw. Nice. Bijan, Spears, Aaron Jones, AJB, Waddle, Olave, Pitts at tight end. 103, 225 first, 226 first. What move should I make? And then he has the 103 for Aiyuk. Take Nabers is his next question. Trade Picks and Waddle for Amon-Ra. So no on the Aiyuk, but go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, I mean that's an obvious no. 103 for Aiyuk. We got a lot of assets to play with here. We're good at quarterback. We're adequate at running back. Clearly, we have. What are we talking about? 2, 3 top 12 receivers here. I mean, we got Chris Olave. God, he's breaking Dynasty. First 10 minutes of this stream.
According to you two, Chris Olave is barely even playable in any fantasy format.
He's a threshold wide receiver.
he's a throw-in. He's damn near a roster clogger, is what I heard.
That's awesome.
So we got Pitts, and we have the 103. So I mean, we got. I'm not calling Aaron Jones or Tajay Spears premier assets, but I think he's in really good shape because he's got the 2 extra 25 and 26 first to play with as well.
I would trade. His last question is trade Picks and Waddle for Amon-Ra. I would trade Waddle and one of those 25 firsts. He says he has 2 of them. I would trade a projected mid 25 first and Waddle for Amon-Ra.
Can I get there easier though? Can I just give up the 103 for Amon-Ra?
That's about what you have to do. He's in that tier.
Would you rather do that? Give up the 103 for Amon-Ra as opposed to Waddle?
You know why? Because I want to keep guys.
Has ADV.
I want to keep. No, I mean it's not like Waddle's bad. I want to keep guys like Waddle and Olave. Like they fill a role. They're just not as awesome as what people think they are. So I think you want to keep those guys, turn the 103, which you're going to be tempted to probably be looking at best player on the board is going to be a quarterback, right? So, I mean, I'd be willing to move Flexibly 103. I'd be willing to move Hurts. I'd be willing to move TLaw. Like, you got options, but you want to turn 103 probably into something that's not quarterback value. Because that's where you're going to get stuck.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'd be more than happy to trade back to 104 or 105. I don't want to get cute and trade back further than that, but if that could be part of a package, that's something I'm looking to do. Because, yeah, I mean, you have your choice of quarterback, wide receiver, or tight end, right? Not in this format.
Shane, what players on the list would you give up the 103 plus a 26 first for, or 25 first? Lamb, Chase, Jefferson. Would you do it for all three of those guys?
Well, see, those are very different things. 26 first without even a thought. 25 first, I'd put a lot of them. It'd be a lot harder for me to do that for a 25 first, even though I know in theory I should. The thing is it's such a cross positional trade. It's going to depend on my roster. You know what I mean? If 103,
well, I'm set at quarterback, so I'm looking for a hammer receiver.
If I'm set at quarterback and at 103, obviously Harrison's gone. I'm not comfortable taking Nabers there. So would I do that? Yes. Would I probably ask for something else back, like a human being at the running back position, any human being, preferably one that still plays in the NFL or possibly the UFL. But yeah, I would do that.
Yeah.
Spring League, baby, starting in March.
There you go. All right, thank you for that super chat, Nathan. We got a super sticker from Alex here. What to do with QJ? Take any second, hold till draft. What do you think?
My God, Alex, you're taking any second and running as fast as you can away from the computer. Yeah, I mean, what was the stat I saw from Kyle Borgnoni today? Hit the list of players that never produced a top 24 week in their rookie seasons in the last decade.
I don't know, but I could give you the list of.
Was Mingo on there too?
It was first round picks. So we're filtering out for like you got to be in the first, and it was name a bad one. N'Keal Harry, Jalen Reagor, Josh Doxson, all of them, every one of them in the last decade that sucked was on that list, and Quentin Johnston was the latest. Jameson Williams was not on there, which I pointed out. Probably omitted him, but he's just as awful. But yeah, I'm out on Quentin Johnston for a second. That's laughable. Someone would pay that.
So early third, you're out 301 through 5. No problem.
Asset. Please take him.
Yeah, he's dead. He's fantasy. He has no fantasy prospects for the future whatsoever. What was he at? 4.4 fantasy points per game, something like that. Well, something just absolutely atrocious.
And here's the thing: nobody likes him, so it's not like he's going to have 3 big games next year, and people are going to go, "Oh man, let me go get him." Like there's already skeptics, so it's not like he's a loved player that just doesn't produce.
I am actually in a league with his parents. They co-own the team, and they dropped him in week 11. No one likes him. No one likes him at all.
Nice. So when I think about what's his face that we were just talking about, QJ, I always think of Jameson Williams too. So Jameson Williams is valued higher than QJ now, but where's your head at on him? You don't think? I mean, it's the same thing, right? Trade for
He's been awful. Look at his numbers for the first 2 years.
I'm talking about league, or I'm talking about market value. Jameson seems like he has more juice, right? Does anybody else in the crowd think that? I feel like Jameson still has truthers. QJ is like dead.
Explain to me though, what is it based on? That he's fast and was a first rounder?
Oh. Yeah. Alabama, fast first rounder. People liking the offense.
Is that not fake value that we just described right there?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I have zero Jameson Williams. Zero. Or QJ for that matter.
He is the wide receiver 41, and I'll go out on a limb and say that there's probably 37 wide receivers below him that should be ranked above him. He is trash. He is absolute garbage. I told you he was garbage after his rookie year. Go away. He's stinkier garbage now.
No, there was a TikTok I posted a while back, and it was hyping up Amon-Ra. It was us hyping him up, and people were like, "No, when Jamo comes in there, Amon-Ra is going to be the Robin to Jamo's Batman." I was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll see this."
I mean, okay. I see a comment in the chat about Rachaad Bateman. I mean, Rachaad Bateman has actually scored like an okay
a lot more.
I mean, Jameson really hasn't. So I don't know. That's a conundrum for me with Jameson Williams. The fact that he's still lingering in the top 50, incredible.
when he gets catches, I'm like just hoping for the people that I like at our Discord and stuff that still have Jameson Williams. It's like, let's give them a sell window. So Cheeky Hobson, thank you for your super chat. He
Trade him
says,
now.
look at how delayed Shane is. Cheeky says, love the roster construction series. 12-team Superflex start 13. There you go. Tight ends are 1.75. It's 2 QB and a Superflex. So you can start up to 3 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, 3 flex, 17 bench. Okay, what should my target roster construction be? This is Scott, if anything is. Here you go.
As much as I pride myself on looking at a million leagues with the war tool and just looking at the distribution and coming up with roster construction, it's a start 13.
This is an outlier.
You got the 2 tight ends. You got the 3 quarterbacks potential. I literally, tell you what, DM me the league. I will look at it, and I will actually respond to a DM, wherever it is, Discord, Twitter, because I'm interested in looking at this, because this is one of those that, like, it's such an outlier. There's probably things that I can't even fathom looking at when I stare at this screen. So sorry for not giving you that answer, but I promise you drop the super chat, so I will respond to you once I run the war. So send me your sleeper user ID.
Yeah, at Charles Chill FFB on Twitter, or Okay. Well, I'll keep that one started just in case. Let's go to this one from Brad Ferdinand. Thank you for the super chat. 1 of 2, 10-team start 12, 2 QB, 2 tight end, no tight end premium, 6 point per passing touchdown. QBs, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Stafford, Orb, otherwise known as 0RB. Wide receivers are Jefferson, Chase, Addison, JSN. Nice. Tight end is Andrews. Has the 101, 103, 104, 105, 106. No 25 first. And then the second part was wondering the best way to maneuver having 5 of the top 6 picks. Likely taking Marvin Harrison Jr. and Nabers. Should I draft a rookie QB or trade remaining picks for proven assets to fill out my roster? Okay, who wants to start here? It's an interesting format too. It's a 10-team, but it's got a lot of stuff going on. 2 QB, 2 tight ends, start 12.
So he said he's drafting Caleb and Marvin Harrison at 101 and 103.
Scott's setting up Shane because he's so blurry and it's going to be all jacked up. Go ahead. I see you eating your phone. That's correct, right? Oh, there he goes. Anyway, so yeah, were you about to say something? No, we were just messing with Shane, right?
No, I mean, I'm
trading Anthony Richardson away in this format. What do you think about that? Tearing down from him, I know in a 2 QB he's nice, but is it bad that when I look at 6 point per passing touchdown and I look at A-Rich, I immediately think, hey, let's capitalize on his value in that format?
I mean, if you can find a creative, like, I'm more interested in the Burrows, Herberts, and stuff in this format, but I'm not in a rush to trade away Anthony Richardson.
Sure.
I do think that there's a legitimate debate here on how to value QBs, because I do in a 2 QB, even a 10-teamer. Hopefully Shane can't hear this because he would disagree. I want probably 4 QBs here. I want a little bit of a rotation. You know what I mean? I don't want to just roll with 3. Knowing I have to start 2 and knowing one of them I have is Anthony Richardson and another one I have is Matt Stafford. So I'm probably drafting at least 1 rookie QB.
At least.
And this is probably the one where I'm willing to take Harrison and Nabers at 101 and 103 and just live with one of the ones that I'm getting at 104 and 105. I would probably see if I can get creative and see if I can maybe shop that 105 or 106 to get some future value. You know, can I collect back a really high or a bad team's 25 first and, you know, a couple decent running backs? Like, hypothetically, can I trade the 106 for a 25 first on a team where I'm not impressed with the manager and they're also willing to kick me Josh Jacobs, a Saquon Barkley, something that I know I'm going to need, but they're kind of devaluing because of where their roster is? I would do a deal like that because I have so many picks.
So what about old Bowers? We got 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is a 2 tight end. He is definitely in play. What do you think?
I mean,
Shane?
all we got's Andrews, so yeah.
I mean, I'm putting, honestly, like, looking at his wide receivers, Jefferson, Chase, Addison, JSN, I like it. I'm actually thinking QB horde in this case. And again, yeah, trying to get creative, maybe moving Anthony Richardson, but I'm taking at least two rookie QBs.
So would you go Harrison, Nabers, QB, Bowers, and just be done with it?
I think I'm going Harrison and then QB2. And
well, you have 3, 4, 5, and 6, so it doesn't really matter who the next 4 picks are.
Yeah, I kind of want to get 102. I want to get 102. I want to take Marvin Harrison Jr. and Caleb Williams. I'm gonna get greedy and get my first 2 picks. I've got a lot of flexibility here.
Would you trade Anthony Richardson for the 102? And you get the first 6 picks in the class?
Honestly, I don't know. I think I would.
What is that?
Shane, can you even stand up behind your desk right now? Yeah, I know. We're just messing around. Shane, your connection is is garbage. And what does Shane do? He private messages, hey, lots of super chats. So we have a lot to get through apparently. Oh boy. All right. So yeah, let's put this up from that I immediately find a 3-parter. 1 of 2, 12-team Superflex, start 11. Yeah, perfect. QBs are Hurts, Kyler, Bryce. Running backs, Charbonnet, Kendre, Chase Brown, Tyler Algier. Wide receivers, Jefferson, Devontae Smith, JSN, Jaden Reed, Downs, DioJohn, Dotson. Tight end, we got Njoku. So let me go to the other part here. Excuse me. Whoops. My bad. I've got Discord going off my ear too. Gave TLaw the 103 Addison for Jefferson today. Congratulations on the big trade today. We'll talk about it. Tried for Amon-Ra. League is TLaw haters. Coming off 3rd place, didn't have a wide receiver 1, still have the 109, 111, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. What should I look to do next? Okay, so let's look back at this format real quick. So it's a 12-team Superflex, start 11. Okay, so fairly deep here. Are you giving TLaw the 103 and Addison for Jefferson? Your QBs are Hurts, Kyler, Bryce Young.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to start the trade. I hate to start the question off with a batch of negativity, but that's a bad deal. You gave up a lot for Jefferson. I'm guessing he's probably thinking, man, I'm stuck with too many quarterbacks here. And this is maybe the best deal he can get by moving a quarterback for Jefferson, but he paid a pretty penny, didn't he? 103 and TLaw and Jordan Addison for Jefferson in a start 11?
In a start 11. If it's a start 8, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, this is one where I might not like the offers I'm getting to move a QB. People see my QB room of Kyler, Hurts, Bryce Young, and TLaw, and I'm sitting on a pick that's probably best player as a QB. The league kind of knows I'm up Schitt's Creek without a paddle, right? They know I need to turn QB value into something else.
Yeah.
But I feel January 16th, we rushed a little bit to take that deal. I know you're getting Jefferson, but I think we rushed a little bit to do it. I would have just I would have bled those values a little longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without making that deal. So we can get to the next part, but I think we overpaid here. And now we gave up probably the two of the top 15 assets in Dynasty right there.
Yeah,
top 20, wherever you consider TLaw. I mean,
it's one thing if you had given up a bunch of stuff in a start 11, but
right.
You gave up a lot of good assets in the start 11. But hey, whatever, it's Dynasty. You can trade again tomorrow, and you've got Jefferson on your team. So
let's just leave it like this, because I have no clue when Shane's going to leave next. So let's just leave it like this for a little while. This looks good.
This is weird with me. There we go. We'll put Shane on the bottom. You should be on the bottom right now. Look at this performance, sir. Just I'm off tonight.
I completely apologize for the winter storm that has gripped the Philadelphia region.
Yeah, kids school was canceled today. Daycare was canceled. School's canceled again tomorrow. So yeah, I love life. Let's go to Spock here. 498. Thank you for the super sticker. 1 of 2. 12-team Superflex. Start 10. Has the 103. Let me see if this is a trade. Excuse me. Oh gosh, he apologizes in the next part too. 12-team Superflex, start 10, 103 and a 25 first projected late, and Deontay Johnson. Okay. Or Puka, the 107 and a 25 seconds. Okay. 12-team Superflex, start 10, the 103, a late 25 first, and DioJohn for Puka, 107, 25 second. What do you think? He says good on QB and wide receiver, lost ship, so competing.
So what picks is he giving? The 103 and what else? And a
103 and a
first.
late first and a late second. And we're getting back just Puka, the 107 and a 25 second, or Deontay Johnson instead of the 25 second.
DioJohn instead of the 25 second.
I think
which 25 second? That's the funny part. There's a 25 second on both sides. Okay.
Well, let's make this simple. I think we're still taking 103 over Puka. And then the 25 first and the 107. I mean, you're getting a little bit of a better value, I think, by getting the 25 or the 24 107 and Deontay for what you're giving, but I'm okay keeping the side that he has. I'm not moving the 103 in a deal like that right now.
Yeah, we get lots of questions like in YouTube, TikTok, you name it. Did it? And it's people trading away 103s and 102s and stuff, and even trading away like 107s and 6s right now. And it's always like, yeah, the value's there, but like, why are we trading away rookie picks right now? It just doesn't. It's always like, why? Okay, your team, your league, the value of picks in your league and what players people like and don't like, but why are we trading rookie picks right now? That's just how I look at it.
I'll just simplify that. I'll give up the 103 and 325 seconds for Puka and the 107. There you go.
Shade's lighting us up in the private chat.
No idea what I'm going to do.
Sorts of feisty here, dude. No, I'm kidding. Let's go to John, actually, early this morning. First one to comment in StreamYard. He's got 2 inbox trades, 10-team Superflex, half PPR, 1.5 for tight ends, start 11. Give Hurts and London or JSN. Okay, wait. Give Hurts and London or JSN. Get the 101 and 102, or get A-Rich and Laporta. Okay. So let's just make this easy.
Oh, okay.
London,
I don't care about JSN or London. They're interchangeable at this point. So Hurts and one of those receivers, and he has his choice of either side. Is that the way you read it? He can get either of the get sides?
Yeah, you can get A-Rich and Laporta, or you can get the 101 and the 102.
I mean, I'm taking the 101 and the 102.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at this is the 101 and Hurts. Even if I snap back and I go, I'm not trading Hurts for that, whatever. That's about even. That's about right market value. 102 for London or JSN is an absolute theft. It's grand larceny. It's a
10-teamer. The 101's by far the most valuable asset in the entire trade in a 10-teamer. Yeah. So right there, you're already winning the deal, and then you're getting the 102 on top of it. I mean, yeah, this is easy.
Yeah, easy enough. Okay, let's keep moving here. Let's go to this one tonight from Joshua. Thank you for the super chat. He says, won't be able to make the stream tonight, but I'll see the replay later. Inbox offer, give the 103, get the 106 and 108. What do you think here? Who wants to go first?
How many teams? I mean, that's a good
one of
deal.
2. Do we have a second
part?
Let's
do. Oh, it is one of 2. Thank you. It is a 12-team Superflex, start 10, 2 tight end premium. So 2.0 for tight end, 6 point per passing touchdown. Team is Rodgers, Kyler, Anthony Richardson, James Cook, and Cans at running back. Jefferson, Olave, Garrett Wilson, JSN, T. Higgins, Downs, and then Kyle Pitts and Andrews at tight end. Thanks for what you guys do. Look forward to watching the replay. All right, thank you. So, yeah, 12-team Superflex, start 10, 2.0 for tight end, 6 point per passing touchdown. Give the 103, get the 106, 108.
So this feels like Fight Club, but if you understand the reference, you'll get the reference. If you don't, whatever, your mom. Do we need more rookie picks here? Is that what we need on this team? Like, I don't think that's what we need. I think I'm going to see what's the best singular asset I can get at the 103. My quarterbacks feel really good. I'm going to need you to turn off the super chats. My quarterbacks feel really good with Kyler, AR5, and Rodgers. So I don't know that I wanted 106. If it's not a 2 tight end premium, It's 2 tight end points.
2.0 for tight ends.
Jesus Christmas. Bowers won't even be there at 1.6.
Is Bowers there at 106?
No.
He gone.
No. So what's going to happen is you're going to get a quarterback at 106.
I think you probably get Nabers at 106.
Maybe you get Nabers. Yeah. I don't know. I think I'd rather just test the market and see what that 103 could do for me.
What can I do with the 108? Because I think the tier in a two PPR, we feel very confident about the top 6 picks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What can I get with the 108? If I can get Brandon Aiyuk or Chris Olave for the 108, now I'm getting one of those players and one of those pieces, and I like that better than the 103. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it just depends on what can you do with the 108. In a lot of leagues, the person with the 108's probably been trying to shop it. So as soon as you get it, you're going to go, hey, did anybody want it? No, not really.
Yeah. No,
so I can see where you'd keep the higher pick, but it's an intriguing deal.
Yeah. Let's go to blinds here. Shane, we'll go to you first, sir. It is and thank you for the super sticker. 12-team Superflex start 10, Nico and Wicks, or Jeudy, which is Jerry, Juedy, and the 201. So Nico and Wicks or Juedy and the 201.
Nico and Wicks by a kabillion. That's by there's nothing to add to that. That's not even close for me. I don't care what I don't care. The 201 is not making this. No, 201 and Juedy does not make up to Nico Collins and Wicks. I don't know. Find the 1 week when he pops off and then trade him.
What if it's Juedy and the 107? Juedy and the 107 are Nico and Wicks.
Then I'll think about moving Nico. Yeah, then I probably would take the pick side because the pick is a lot better at that point. I mean, the 107 and the 201 aren't even, you know what I mean? Like they're not even.
That just shows how far off this is.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, definitely. Hopefully you're not valuing Juedy in the 201 side.
Or Jeudy.
Abort. Danny Too Good with the super chat says, shout out to Clay for being my draft specialist. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. It's been really fun working through a startup with Danny Too Good. He's a Destination 5 tier member too. He's like one of the most active guys in our Discord. We love ourselves some Danny Too Good. Okay, so he says, and shout out to the rest of y'all that got me to go from a freeloader to DTI 5 patron to now fully as a Destination 5 member. Yeah, man. So we have our tier, the Dynasty Trades in 5 tier. And then if you go to destinationdevy.com, we have a Destination 5 tier, which is all you can eat. It's all of Destination Devy, all of Dynasty Trades in 5. So go there if you want to take a look at that, or go to patreon.com/allgas and sign up for our tier. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Just real quick with the D5, you get us in the Discord, you get all the other Discords, you get the tools, which are like honestly drive so much conversation and thought.
Right.
You don't have to abide by them blindly. I still like arguing against them sometimes just for fun, devil's advocate type of thing. But no matter what, it's something to help you think. I think it's invaluable to be a D5 member.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so let's go to the next one here. Keep on moving. Let's go to Jen. Thank you for the super chat. 1 of 2, 10-team Superflex, start 10, PPR, tight end premium is 0.5. So 1.5 for tight ends. Trade TLaw, the 102 and 105 for the 101 and Burrow. I also have the 104, 302, 303. As far as team, Jen has Stroud, TLaw, Chase, Garrett Wilson, Olave, Nico, DioJohn, JSN, and then at running back, Singletary, Ty Chandler, Charbonnet, Roschon, and then McBride at tight end. Thinking about going Marv with the 101 and Daniel/Drake with the 104. Thoughts?
Well, why don't I just go see what wide receiver Trevor Lawrence can get me? You have the 104. I wanted to. I don't want to do all that. She has the 102 and the 105. I don't need to get that cute. If you want to get rid of something, go see what TLaw can get you. If you want to trade, if you are hell bent on trading TLaw and the 105, sure, add them together and go see what wide receiver you can get with that. Does that get me CD Lamb, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, who I mispronounced his name for some reason, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, who apparently is the bottom of that elite tier now, from what I'm hearing from
Yeah, I know, right?
Twitterverse. Instead of throwing all of that to move up one pick, I don't want to. I don't want to do it.
What do you think, Scott?
Well, he's already got Chase, so she's stacking the Burrow with Chase.
Mm-hmm.
I think here's the thing: it's a 10-teamer. At 105 is not as valuable. It's a pretty penny here, but you are essentially paying the tax to go from what could be a very good pick to the hammer in the class, right? Like you're paying a tax to get Marvin Harrison, and you are upgrading your QB, and you're probably stacking Burrow with Chase. So I mean,
yeah,
this is probably the price, right? If you want Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, Marvin Harrison, that's probably the price. Are you really going to let TLaw and the 105 in a 10-teamer get in the way?
Yeah, that's
justify
close.
doing it.
I could definitely justify doing it too. Yeah. The stack aspect of it would like keep me coming back to thinking about doing it. And Marvin
12-teamer, no,
obviously 12-teamer.
105 is too valuable.
Yeah,
10-teamer, I'm willing to kind of take the shot potentially.
Yeah, interesting.
I'm not. I'm going to do better. I know that it's. I understand the format and all that. I guarantee I can get something pretty impressive with TLaw on the 105.
That's fair. A lot of times the deals are if you can't get anything better, we're evaluating the trade.
And if we go to that,
a million other proposals you could make in the next 3 months.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Here, I thought this was very important.
So Daniel Walker put here at Andrew A. Shane had Stroud QB1 this time last year and caved under the pressure. Enjoy the underwear Olympics.
Shane got bit by that S2 score. Got worried.
They basically put out that he was illiterate, so that did worry me a little bit.
Oh, this is fun from Theo, the OG fantasy football. Shane reading Brazilian financial sites. Yeah, that's what he was doing. The conversion, Mr. NATO's conversion.
Clay, you do have an offer, sir.
Oh, you sent it because I looked earlier. Okay. Let's go to Ethan 22's strategy question. If you guys are constantly asking for top 10 guys for top 6 picks, but no one will pay that, what do you do when you own 5 out of the top 6 picks? Hold and make them all? That's a different story if you have all of those picks versus just having a single one or 2 of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, here's the other thing. It is January the 16th. There is a lot of time until the draft, right? We haven't even finished the NFL season, right? So we haven't even started the whole process of, someone just alluded to, the underwear Olympics, the Senior Bowls, the Reese's Pieces, Scott Fitzgerald Bowls. I don't know what they're called. Whatever. We haven't even gone through any of those bowls. We haven't gone through any pro days, any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like these picks, there's an ebb and flow of it. There's an ebb and flow to it. These picks will appreciate in value as we get closer to the rookie draft. People will get a little harder thinking about drafting those rookies. They just will. So I would hold on for now. It's only January 16th.
Yeah. Any thoughts? Good. Okay, let's keep rolling here. So Garrett, thank you for the super chat. It's a 10-team super flex, no tight end premium, start 9. Burrow or London and the 105. Scott, we'll start with you, man.
I mean, it's hard for me to turn down a Burrow deal, but again, I'm going to stick with the 10-teamer here. It's a 10-teamer. The quarterback war is flatter. You can replace it easier. They should be easier to obtain because there's more of them to go around. So I'm probably okay just keeping the London and the 105 side. Can I trade Drake London straight up for, I don't know, insert a QB? Can I get Brock Purdy instead? Straight up. It's a 10-teamer. I should have more access to quarterbacks. Now, league dependent. Mm-hmm. I've seen 10-teamers where people just hoard the shit out of every QB and they price them like it's a 14-teamer. But I think in theory, I should be able to get closer to Burrow's production with one of those pieces than pay both of them. So I'm fine keeping the pick side and the London side.
Yep. Sounds good to me. Okay, so let's move this one right here. And Blind had another super sticker here. Thank you. He says also Geno or the 212. And this is a 12-team super flex start 10.
I'll answer this one there. I'll answer this one in 30 seconds. Geno Smith, like him or not, he is in the below the curve tier in WAR at quarterback, and I'm getting anything I can for him because I can replace him with literally backups. Now, if he bounces back to what he was in 2022, then I'm going to lose the bet. But if he's QB 15 or lower, I can literally replace him with my roster construction. So if you can get a second for him, I'm fine taking it.
And I think what the bet is, though, is that you're taking is it's the 212. In actuality, what am I giving up for basically a risk? Yes. Because if he's last year's Geno Smith, that's not great. And nothing's guaranteed because we don't even know who the head coach is going to be there, and they have no ties to Geno's. But I'd be willing to pay something as minimal as that for him.
Well, I think it comes down to if I'm roster constructed right and I have 10 backup QBs on my team, I'm not giving anything for Geno Smith. He's useless to me. The only thing he would be valuable to me is, can I flip him? Because some other idiot is like, oh, he's a guaranteed starter. I'll give you more than the 212. But I personally don't want him on my roster if I'm giving up picks for him. Maybe that's where I'm a little more rigid than others, but like, I don't want to buy into that range of quarterback. If I'm going, I need a Derek Carr or a Geno Smith to start for me in week 1, I've already messed up.
Well, unless, of course, you've constructed your roster in such a way that that's how you build it. You're just going.
I would never build that way.
You're going.
I'll add 12 trash can backups and hope one of them is starting versus pay for anything in that.
It's like, I won't build that way. I don't
Orb QB. It's Orb QB, baby.
Orb QB. That's definitely good process in this.
There's got to be something better than Orb QB. There's got to be someone come up with a better.
Jackie Moon.
Reference.
Jackie Moon can come up with one because, man, he had one the other night. I took a screenshot of it that I'll have to find. Let's go to Nathan Robarge. Nathan Robarge with the tabby, the orange cat. Thank you, sir. Near the end of a startup draft. I'm jealous. We got to get one rolling. 12-team Superflex start 11, 1.5 tight end premium. Traded my 25 first away. Okay, so holds Hurts, Kyler, Dimes, Cup, Hopkins, and not much else. What are you doing with these picks? 101, 103, 104, 105, 110, and then has some, he says 4 more late. He's got thirds and fourths. It says much love. Appreciate it, man.
Let's see. At that 101, guess what I'm doing, Scott?
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
So 103. Okay, we've already talked about this. Can I go trade the 103 for Amon-Ra St. Brown? And this is a start 11, so this is deep. I understand that you should be splitting some of these assets, but first I'm going to try to get these hammers. Harrison and A-Rob, that's not his name. Amon-Ra St. Brown, adding them to my team who make me feel good inside. Can I split the 104 at one point, like that trade that me and Clay just talked about that I'm waiting for him to accept?
Oh, yeah.
Can I make a deal like that? Man, 110 in a start 11. I might even see if I can push that back to a 25 first and a 24 second. See if I could get something like that done.
Looking at the trade here. I'm trying to pull it up. What do you think, Scott?
I mean, I would definitely, this is one of those deals just like the Geno Smith one, where as soon as you think there could be a Danny Dimes as a starter, he's one of the ones you just take whatever you can for him, and then you don't really have much else to trade. So the good news is you have 4 top 5 picks. The bad news is you don't have much else other than 2 more QBs. So I do think you kind of just got to shop around. You got to go to the teams that could potentially be interested in those picks. And I think the other thing is you got to be willing to break up Kyler and Hurts because somebody may want them instead of the picks. If you're valuing the top 5 picks like we are, you may say, hey, I'm willing to trade the 105. That's going to be Drake May. That's going to be Jaden Daniels to somebody. But they may go, I'd rather have Kyler Murray. So you may have to take the risk on a couple of the rookie picks versus, and this is the team to do it. This isn't like a contender where if I use all these picks on rookies, I don't end up helping myself. So you got to be flexible, but I'd put pretty much everything on the block to split.
You know what I've noticed so far through a couple of videos of the Mannequin Chill picker player series is I think we seem to be, and this is weird, consensusly. That's not a word either. I'm really on fire.
It can be, Shane. Let's start making up words. It don't matter. Let's have fun with it.
Consensusly, among at least the 2 of us, which is a congruent, we seem to be higher on rookie picks than the market, and from what I see, we happen to be higher on Marvin Harrison than the market, which is crazy to me.
Okay, but let's just dive through the psychology of that real quick. Why is that? It's because everybody thinks of these rookie picks as they have risk attached to them. And when you turn the player or the pick into a player, that's true. Because you can look back and go, there's a tier of 5, but the odds are one of them at least is going to disappoint relative to how we're valuing them, right? That's a fair assessment.
Sure.
Because everyone goes, oh man, I look at Bryce Young last year. They start nitpick. The person without the pick start nitpicking the couple spots in the past where it's failed. And then they tend to devalue all of the picks. But we have time on our side. We have 4 more months until those actually have to be turned into a player.
Yeah.
Which is, it makes no sense not to be as high as you are on those picks right now. Ask us on April 30th. Are you still as high on the 105? There's a chance we go.
It may be completely different. I don't know.
Wish I would have moved it in January, but that's the risk you have holding it. It could also be I'm higher on the 105 now than I was back then because I know what it's going to be. And the draft has happened.
Yeah, I like top 5. I'm totally fine with top 6. For whatever reason, when I see 7, I'm out. Ryan Henry asks, rebuilding team, Puka on the block. I have the 101, 108, 201, 203. Add any of those to Waddle, get the deal done. Okay, do we have the...
Without knowing the format, unfortunately, I don't really feel like I would answer it.
Well, I'm going to answer
league,
it anyway.
Yes. Shallow league, yes. Deeper... 10 teams start 9, sure. 12 teams start 11. I'm not really adding anything but the 201 to Waddle to get Puka.
I'll add the rebuilding. I'll add the 108 to Waddle for Puka.
That's literally what I was going to ask you. 108 and Waddle for Puka.
People not putting the respect on Puka that he deserves. Puka is right below.
But he said he was rebuilding.
Shane, explain it. He's rebuilding, and that's all he has on his team. Why am I using 2 assets to get Puka Nakua when I'm going to have 3 players? That's all he has.
He's got 4 more picks in this draft. So he's trading the 101. You could trade that 101 for a 103 and a future 25 first. You had another first in there too.
But my question is, why, as a rebuilder, why is that the deal I'm chasing?
You probably don't have to. You don't have to.
We also don't know the format, so it could be a quicker rebuild.
It's a start 8.
If it's a short, if it's a 10 teams
8
start 9
teams start 8. Okay, consolidate the shit out of everything.
Yes.
Feel free to add in 2 firsts and Waddle for Puka. No. Joe, thank you for the super chat. It's a 12-team start 11 super flex, 2 tight ends, and there's a small tight end premium, 1.5. Tiered PPR, there's a big point per carry, so 0.25 for every rush attempt.
Nice.
3rd place. Players of note, Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Bijan, Breece Hall, Achan, Ken Walker, Justice Hill makes a list. JJ Chase, Puka Diggs, Cooper Kupp, Keenan Else. Look at how the hell did I read that? Keenan, Kelsey, Andrews, and Joku. And then his second part is gave up Lamar Jackson, the 110, Justice Hill, and Sky Moore for the 101, 201, and Drizzy Drake and Drake London. Not sure if I'm going to keep the pick or leverage for more picks and or players. Just a little shake up for my 3rd place finish. Love how he writes this. Okay, so gave Lamar Jackson the 110 and a couple cans for the 101, Drake London, and the 201. What do you think here, Scott? Shade looks perplexed.
No, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in that deal, but it comes down to you gave up Lamar for the 101. You got Drake London for the 110. And you got the 201 for Justice Hill. So those 3 pieces together, you won that deal. You probably won that deal even more because of the fact you already have Mahomes and Burrow. And then you add the fact that you got all these other assets now. I mean, Bijan, Breece Hall, Ken Walker, A-Chain, Chase, Puka, JJ, Diggs, Drake London now, Cooper. I mean, you got 3 good tight ends. Like,
it's a dream trade.
You got a lot of stuff that you could now turn into a future first, or you could trade back into this draft, or you could do a ton of things with it. So I think this is one of those rosters, and you go, how the hell did you get so much shit?
Yeah, right.
What do the other teams look like? There's probably some struggle bus teams in this league.
After Puka, it's like, all right, what 20? Can I trade Diggs for a 25 first? Can I get a 26 first for Cooper? Can I
shave all the shit for future picks and still dominate?
Yeah.
Yeah, and look at that PPC too, and he's got awesome running backs. I mean, Yeah,
it's a baby tight end premium. Okay, how much can I get
it
for
is 2
Andrews
tight
and
ends.
Kelsey?
It's 2 tight end though.
Yeah,
So
I'm
so
not
fine.
messing with that.
All right,
Really.
well, how much can I get for Kelsey before he retires?
112.
We haven't talked Kelsey. 2 tight end right now. What would you pay, Clay?
I would
Kelsey?
give the 112. That is the highest I would go, but I would give a first for Travis Kelce.
Do you see a question in there that starred from what would seemingly be a blonde?
Yes, yeah, from MJ. Yeah, it was in our league. I was trying to give her Breece, and you gave her AJ Brown.
She would like that question highlighted if you could.
I'm sure she would. Let's go to Miss MJ Cruz. She is from the Squirt League. Hello, MJ. Thank you for the snorts, Shane. She said, trade my 105 for AJ Brown over getting Breece Hall. Was that not a good move? Which would you prefer? Some guy been trying to rip me off for months. So I'm some guy, but what do you think, man? I mean, I don't know. I'm like just as fine with Breece Hall over AJ Brown right now. That's just me. I don't know. If I'm building around Breece Hall as my hammer that I got super cheap in this league, I think.
I'm kind of wondering how Shane would rank these 3 assets, because I actually think Shane might take AJ Brown as the last of these 3 assets. Am I right, Shane?
Deep thought is what the subtitle.
Rough night. I need a cigarette. Apparently,
order these 3 assets, Shane. 105, AJ Brown, and Breece Hall. Right now, you have to pick
105, AJ Brown, and Breece Hall. That order.
Okay.
That order. But Breece Hall and AJ Brown is close. It is close. It's literally, if my roster is built in such a way that I need a hammer back and I don't have one, I'm willing to pay an AJ Brown price to get hit.
Would that be a hammer back or a hammer back? Like a running back or a hammer back in the deal? Which one is it?
Hammer back. It's a hammer back. It's a running back. There's 3 of them. There's Breece.
All right, crowd. Remember that one. Hammer back.
And I forget who the 3rd one is. Oh, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. All right, MJ. Well, I'm around. If you ever want to make a trade, you can actually send one instead of just putting people on the block and then not trading with me. Yeah. We need to go on Didit. We need to go on Didit and get a trade done, right? She owes us for the free roster review back in the day. No, I'm kidding. But speaking of Didit, we are still partnered with Didit. We're having a good time over there. So they changed their terms in terms of now it's can I say terms again and use this for a reel here? So now the first $25 of the call are free. But it's awesome. I mean, it only ends up being like 10 to 12 minutes, let's call it. But you can get in a quick roster review, a few trade questions. It's still an awesome tool and an awesome forum to be able to meet us too. So I think I'm 76 calls deep. I know Scott's done a ton of calls, especially when it was uncapped free. Shane's done a ton of calls. So hit us up, man. Our descriptions, or I'm sorry, our expert links will be in the description. You can just DM us in there, and we'll work out a time to chat.
Or you could just D me up on Didit, whatever. That's fine too. Look, it's your dollar. Whatever you want to send me screenshots of, I'm looking at whatever. I don't care, right? You pay, I'm looking at it. I'll rate it. You know.
What have you looked at so far? I mean, are you just saying that? You're just putting it all out?
I'm just putting it out there. Like, if there's someone that's just like, look, I personally need someone to judge my member, for sure, send me a screenshot of it while we're on Didit. I'll let you know. You know what I mean? I have a very limited experience with those, like mostly mine. A lot of that I've seen in porns, but I still feel like I could rank them pretty well. Yeah. I did it.
Smash that promo. Just crushed it.
Yeah. So no, A-Town keeps DMing me. We're gonna hook up tomorrow. A-Town.
I was about to say, quit while you're ahead. No, I will say to the Didit guys, that was really cool. I asked them to make like a content creation category, and they did, and I'm in there, so that's cool as well. So if you want to DM me in that tab, you can do that. I'll send you my calendar and whatnot. You're in the content creation one too.
Yes, yeah? I can give valuable tips like I don't know, show up and ask Clay.
Good stuff there. Okay, so let's go to what do we got? We got MJ's. Let's go to Giddy Up. 10-team, start 12 Superflex. Allen or Dak, Garrett Wilson, and a 25 first. Thank you for the super
10
sticker,
team.
man.
You were just talking about 10 team.
Start 12.
And you could reverse them, and it's 12 teams start 10, but the quarterback scarcity is not the same, but the number of starters is the same. I do feel like, obviously there's major stink on Dak. He's miles away from Josh Allen after, the last 2 weeks. But I think there's a shot if your roster construction is okay, you have a couple other QBs, I'm okay taking the Garrett Wilson in a first, basically, to down tier from Allen to Dak. So I'm okay taking the package side. Now, if you say I have no QBs, and you're trying to find a way to solve that, I'd still consider it. But if you're okay at QB, I'm definitely doing the package.
What's funny about this deal is the quarterbacks are less valued, but the quarterback that you have is Josh Allen. And I don't know that there could be a more valuable quarterback in a shallow format than Joshua Allen. I assume his full name's Joshua. I don't know.
Let me ask you this.
Likely.
In a 12-teamer, you would smash the package there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going package as it stands, assuming an active market and yeah, that my team that fits my team. I think it's a strong enough package. If it's not a start 12, then pass. It's got to be a start 12. If it's going to be a 10 team. Okay, let's go to Girth Brooks. I love that. We could somehow tie this into the Didit promo. Thank you for the super chat. He says, "What up, boys? Was hoping Scott could go into how to value tight end in leagues that are 14 teams, start 2 with a 2.0 tight end premium, 0.2 point per carry, 0.5 rush/receiving first down." The second question is, looking at the war, the bonuses really offset the tight end value. Would you send Laporta in the 106 for Puka and Breece? Running backs dominate the war based on the graphs he's looking at.
Yeah, with the 0.5 rushing first downs and the point per carry, it's going to bump the running backs way higher. And it is a 14-teamer, so that's going to make that curve probably even steeper at the top. So if Breece Hall, if he is the difference maker, is by far the most valuable piece in the trade, probably. Now, Laporta is also valuable because it's a start 2 tight end premium, but I do think because it's a 14-teamer, what is my access to getting the Cade Ottons of the world, the Hunter Henrys of the world? Can I get those guys for nothing? I'm willing in a 14-teamer. I'm willing to do that. If I can get a bunch of those guys, I'm willing to play tight end that way. Because there's going to be Clay, 9 or 10 teams that are also taking a shit at tight end in this league anyway. Because it's a 14-team start 2. Give me Puka and Breece Hall.
Here you have the opportunity to differentiate at running back, get a top hammer, and he says it's running back is heavy in the war.
Now, can I nickel and dime with Sam Laporta and tier down and build a bunch of assets that way? Can I get
Evan Ingram?
That's what I mean. Can I get early first in Evan Ingram or David Njoku, or can I get Dalton Kincaid in a first? Something where I keep the positional advantage, but I'm also adding assets that I can go and then buy more assets. But yeah, Laporta is valuable, but I kind of agree with that running back scoring. I'd be willing to do it.
Yeah. No, that's a good trade. That's a good trade because I'm looking at 106. Bowers isn't going to be there at 106.
Correct.
Not in that format. Good Lord. Okay. So Oliver, this is Coach Ali. What's up, man? Thank you for the super chat. We made a trade. We made a Kyler trade. Yeah, it was the one we talked about the other day. I have the 101, 103, 106, 108, 9, 11, and 12. 12 teams start 11, 1.5 for tight ends. Have Burrow, Bryce, Addison, T, Freiermuth, Musgrave, Najee, Roshan. How are you going about trading in the offseason? Not a lot of, obviously it's picks. His assets are picks outside of
what can he trade?
Players.
It's not just liquidate, Shane. What does he have on his roster that people are seeking out? Burrow?
Addison, Burrow, some T. Higgins.
I think T and Addison are assets people will take, but I don't know if they're actually seeking them out.
Yeah,
I don't think they're seeking them out.
Which Bryce, no one is actually purposely buying. Maybe if you accidentally get someone to accept. Unfortunately, no one's purposely buying it. And Burrow's value is depressed right now, too. I mean, here's the thing. You've got the 101 through the 103. Is that right? Or just the 101? Just the 101, 103, 106, 108, 19, 111, 112. He literally has all those picks.
Yeah. No, he's got all of those.
Well,
off the rip, I'd be willing.
I'm sorry, 101 and then 103. Read those one by one.
I think off the rip, this is one of those where I'm kind of hunting around 9, 11, and 12. Can I go to some suspect teams and swap for futures? When I'm building, that's the kind of deal I want to make, because I'm not. It is easier to look at a team and go, that's not a great roster. The manager's not great at roster construction. They're not super, whatever it is where you're like, I'm not really impressed with that manager. I'll bet against them making the playoffs. Can I give them the 109 and they give me back their 25 first and throw me a third? Throw me something else I could move. But that's the kind of deal I want to make sight unforeseen when I'm rebuilding, when I don't have a lot of assets. Like, give me the swing at the up tier without having to pay for it on paper. Because as soon as you go, hey, I want to tier up from the 9 and the 11, you have to just add both of those to get a better pick. And that's not what you want to do if you're rebuilding.
No, I mean, the one thing I was thinking is throwing the 8 and 12 at someone and seeing, can that get me a back end QB1, but one with some ceiling attached to him, like a Brock Purdy. Someone that, could outproduce that. Not like a Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, although Dak Prescott, was elite this year.
Jordan Love?
Yeah.
Can Bryce in the 108 get me Jordan Love? Would you pay that?
I'd rather give up the 108 than 111 or 112. I'd like to hold on to Bryce, to be honest with you. I still think he's going to turn it around, but that's a player take. So in theory, yes, I'd be fine to move Bryce for that. It's the same valuation. It really is. Because you're not trading Bryce for anything more than that in any league that I've seen.
I don't know. I'm going to be wrong on Jordan Love or whatever. I've got him. Yeah, I've got him in the OG league. Like, whatever. I've got a few shares of him, but I don't know.
I'll give you Kyle Trask.
Send it over. Make sure to offer a sweetener, though. Okay, Brendan Kelly, thank you for your super chat. He says, how would you fix this team? 10 team start 11 SPF. Okay, so this is a sunscreen league. 10 team start 11 super flex. Tough crowd. Goff, Tua at quarterback. Connor, Bijan, Henry at running back. Wide receivers, Mike Evans, Garrett Wilson, Diggs, Lockett, and Christian Watson. Tight ends, David, Dallas, no picks.
So it sucks. So me and Scott come across teams sometimes where we go, this is not a 1 year of rebuild. And it hurts us deeply. It makes us sad. We make sure to let the person know that we're talking to, like, hey, join another league if you're not in another league, because you're going to need another one you can compete in. I'm selling for scraps, aren't I? I mean, Bijan should be able to get me a lot back. Goff should be able to get me something back. Tua can get me something. I mean, but the problem is Evans and Diggs coming off bad year for Diggs.
I think the major problem is it's a 10-teamer. I'm almost guessing in your league, people look at Tua and Goff, go, I'm good. Yeah. I'll just roll out Derek Carr, Geno Smith. You know what I mean? There's not a big difference in a 10-teamer. There's no scarcity. Well, so you're almost stuck with those QBs. You're almost better holding the QBs. I think you're better off trying to trade Evans, Diggs. Like, you're going to have to find the right time to move those guys. But I think there are more people will want those guys than they will Jared Goff.
Well, so my point to the why I was saying, like, this might be a 2 year rebuild is I'd be willing to even take 26 first for them. Bye, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is the classic take 25s, 26s, and just get another team and take that team in a different direction. Because this one's going to be one that takes some work.
I love how Dallas Goedert is just Dallas, and then David Njoku he's David now.
I mean, hey, when you say David and Dallas, you know what tight ends you're referring to, right?
I really didn't at first. I was like, I'm just gonna read David and then Dallas, and then I gave myself time to think of David. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Okay, so Austin Dingman, thank you for the super chat. 12-team Superflex start 9. I'm set at running back with Taylor, Gibbs, Hall, and Charbonnet. At wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, Jordan Addison, Amari Cooper, Marvin Mims, and QJ. Give Hall for Olave and an early second.
Breece?
Start 9. Yeah.
No. Shut up, Scott.
What can we get for Marvin Mims, Quentin Johnson, and Zach Charbonnet? Those are all roster cloggers and a start 9.
I will give you a single third for all of them together.
Send it.
and Austin, not to dismiss the trade offer, I agree with Shane. I would keep Breece Hall, but the way you kind of upgrade start 9s without saying, "Hey, does anybody want Marvin Mims, Quentin Johnson, and Zach Charbonnet? Who's going to give me a stud for all 3 of them?" You liquidate all 3. You go and say, "Who will give me a second for Mims? Can I get a second for QJ? Can I get a second for Charbonnet?" Now you have 3 seconds. You never know when a deal could come up where you tack on something to one of those seconds and move up in the draft. Like, that's how you up tier without making it obvious. People are too sharp these days to go, "Hey, Shane, what do I need on top of Jordan Addison? Can I get a stud? Can I get 3 seconds on top of Addison to get me a better receiver?" Like, it just doesn't work. Doesn't work. If you're in a shallow league, you got to grind those edges. Get the picks that you don't think matter. You never know when they turn into a throw-in that you can get a better piece.
Yeah. Yeah, and some people will make a trade and then they'll just start like tilting and be like, "Oh, I need to rebuild it." And then all of a sudden those seconds and thirds that you collected like are more attractive to a league mate, but not in a super sharp league, I suppose. Okay. Connor Mattingly, thank you for your super chat. We have a 1 QB 10 team start 8, so very shallow here. In talks, Chase for Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and a 26 first. Wide receivers are Chase, Jefferson, Kupp, Higgins. How big is the Chase to Amon-Ra, St. Brown drop off?
Depends on what you can do for the first, because the thing is, it's a 10 team start 8. Like, even a 3% upgrade may not even be worth the first. It depends on what I can do with the first.
That's 100% it, because that 26 first is not worth very much at all right now in a 10 team start 8 1 QB.
No, but ARSB is in Chase's tier already, so I'm getting a free.
He is for me too. I mean, I'm a big Amon-Ra guy. Well,
can I tack on something else to get ARSB, or does it have to be this deal where I'm giving up the wide receiver 2 for the wide receiver 4? Does it have to be that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And go to the guy and say, "My entire roster is available except for Jefferson and Chase. What do I need for Amon-Ra?" And see if he's willing to take a bunch of stuff.
So what if you get Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and then you take that 26 first and attach that to T. Higgins? See how high you could get and what your net can be. But yeah.
But does he have a 26 first that he can just go try to get Amon-Ra for? I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's move on to Parker Dunkel here. Thank you for your super chat. It's a 12-team Superflex PPR start 11.
105.
105 or JSN.
Yeah, that was last year's price, bro. Definitely taking the pick. Not even close.
I like JSN. If I can get JSN on the cheap, which 105 is not, I will. But in this case, it's 105.
109.
109, yes. 107, probably not.
So 108-ish.
Yeah.
That feels about right.
And honestly, it's going to be one of those once I hit my quota, my JSN quota. If you send me that offer on Monday and I only have 4 JSNs, and by the time Tuesday rolls around, I had 5 of them, you missed out. I'm not making that deal anymore.
I have to give Shane credit, because not when I first met Shane, but I remember a time, maybe 2019, where Shane was at 13 DJ Moores, or just an absurd amount of. Shane, how much do you have of one player? Man, just like about 45% exposure.
Yeah. Just absurd.
There was no portfolio principles at all. It was just get as many of those guys as I can. Yes. And because Shane just sends out offers, "Hey, I've got 6 DJ Moores accepted this week. Now I have too many. I need to go try to sell them."
I cut my teeth in Dynasty listening to Dynasty Nerds and Dynasty Trades HQ. So I literally have been listening to Shane since day one. And I found you probably like 4 or 5 months after DTHQ. I found Dynasty.
Did you know, Clay, that you can trade picks 2 years out and you can just always get those picks back?
Oh
Easy.
yeah. Who is
God,
that?
I don't
Is
care
that
about that
a
26
Spurs?
first. I'll just get it back. And then
Yeah.
you never, because you don't value picks, you never value them high enough to ever get them back. But that's all. That
Yeah.
always cracks me up with
About
early HQ
our
days.
boy Sipes, yeah. So Alan, thank you for the super chat. So it's a 14-team start 8, 1 QB. Burrow at quarterback, Orb, 0 running backs, Olave, Rashee Rice, Pop Douglas, Dubs, and Joku. Traded the 102 and 105 for 101 and 202. Okay, so first tell me that. What do you think about that one?
It's a start 8,
Start 8,
1
14 team.
QB. So yes, I mean, would I like to get Nabers and I forget who would be at the 105 at this point, but nah, I'm going to take that shot on Harrison.
It's a smash in a 1 QB.
Just give me Harrison.
Yeah, it's a smash in a 1 QB. And my mind cannot my eyes cannot go away from the fact that it says Rice Pop. That just sticks out to me. But yeah, I'm taking the 101 very, very easily here.
Rice Pop, nice. And then his second question was, should I trade Rice Pop and the 202 for DJ Moore?
Yes.
In that shallow format, I mean,
the thing is, in that shallow of a format, they're both kind of like occupying the same spot, I think.
DJ Moore, hammer. He had a hammer season.
Was he a hammer now, Shane?
No. He's not that. He had a hammer season, though, when Justin Fields was on the field.
He's one of those, like, little hammers that's not quite like the big one. Like
you would say,
it takes a lot of extra swings.
Like, if someone hit you with it, you'd be like, ow. You know what I mean? But as opposed to
we have one of those. It looks like a hammer, but it's just like half the size, but like still a hammer. So yeah, I mean, I can buy it if you really want DJ Moore. He's good. He's always been good.
Yeah. Okay, this one is from Chum Quad. Thank you for your super chat. Let me see if I don't even know what the hell that's supposed to mean.
I'll tell you, that's the dude from Shrek, the prince.
Is Chum Quad the name of the dude?
No, I have no idea what that is.
No,
I'll tell you right now. Chum Quad tries to send me a message for like, hey, Freeburg did it. I'm not taking that call. Nope.
Oh, when I think of chum, I think of fishing. Okay, so let's go. So 10 teams start 9. It's an extra 0.5 for tight ends, 4 point per passing touchdown. Not much to work with. Major assets are 102, and he's got Caleb penciled in there. 109, 201, 325 first. Got Kyler, Herbert, Howell, Christian Watson, Addison, Ferguson, Swift, Tajay. Nobody wants Caleb, and it's very hard to sell Herb. It's recreational now, so that's probably why. Not sure what direction to go. Shay closes his eyes. I have my own first next year. Am I forced to tank? What direction do I go? Okay, so it's a 10-team start 9, 4 point per passing touchdown. What do you think? Scott, you got thoughts?
Well, I'm just going to say I'm going to use this as an example, unfortunately, for Chum Quad. This is what happens when people evaluate 10-teamers correctly. It's going to feel like the QBs you think you should be able to get more from. Someone looks at, and it's not even a knock on Justin Herbert or even Caleb Williams, but in a 10-teamer, someone looks at Justin Herbert and is like, okay, cool. He's QB 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. I don't need him. But they're looking at that 101 going Marvin Harrison, stud. You know, that's probably what's in demand in the league. So it's risky in 10-teamers to start building around these picks where you're penciling in, Jaden Daniels, 103, Drake May, like that. It's not worth just blindly picking those. So is he forced to tank? I mean, his roster's not very good. It's probably not winning in a 10-team start 9, but you're never forced to tank. You do have the 102. Yeah. But it sounds like his market has spoken on what they feel about his quarterbacks, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I think I'd still take Nabers at 102 in a 10-teamer, truthfully. But do I have to take him, or can I trade back a spot and still get him? Like that's probably what I have to be asking myself. But
the problem
is reality in a 10-teamer.
You likely can't do that because your league has shown you that they don't. What's the word I'm looking for?
We've done
the Chargers. Come on,
we've done roster reviews. I've done Didit calls where people pull up their 10-teamers. You look at every team and it's like, they got that. You sort on Dynasty Daddy or whatever, and it says QB rankings, right? You go to the team that has the 8th best QB room. Oh, they might need a quarterback. And then it's like Matt Stafford, Brock Purdy, Jared Goff. Like they don't need one. They could use better ones. But you look at them like they're not going to pay through the nose to get Drake May when they have those 3 starters. And it's like every team has guys like that.
And they may have finished in 3rd or 4th based on the rest of their team.
Right.
That QB room you read off, like, could have been a strong playoff team. Yeah. So, okay, let's move to our boy Sandiford here. He says Discord. Sandiford, we'll put your message up on here. He's our dude.
I think he's shouting out Discord. There's another shout out to Patreon because it's been like 45 minutes since we said anything.
Yeah. So, and he got a roster review from Shane and Scott. So Sandiford's our right-hand man. He does a bunch of shit for us, handles our whole roster review process. 12-team Superflex, start 11, 1.5 tight end premium. And he says this is a roster from yesterday's review. Gave the 103 and 213, got the 105, 25 first, and the 405. Caleb Williams is going 101 and Marvin Harrison Jr. at 102. So what are your thoughts here, Scott?
Oh yeah, I mean he smashed it because his QBs are good in this league already. So that was the goal, was to move off that 103 for another top 5 pick, and he turned it into a 25 first and still got a pick thrown in. I mean, he's got an absurd team and he just made it better. So nicely done, sir.
Good stuff. Yeah.
I want to get to this.
Join the Discord. Big trades like that, right? What do you got here? Mr. Howell, 85. So he's like 38 years old, I guess, right? That's what I always think of. They put their year. In a startup, would you take Lamb over Chase?
I'll just have you know that according to KTC values, you are incorrect, sir.
Lamb has jumped Chase, huh? Already?
Yes.
Nice.
CD Lamb is your wide receiver 2. Justin Jefferson is undefeated as the wide receiver 1. And then our boy Jamar Chase coming in at wide receiver 3. Crazy how far he's fallen. One spot.
I mean, I wouldn't, but if you did, I'm not going to be like you're wrong. You know what I mean? That's for me. It's probably going to be like, who do I have more shares of, and can I trade down one spot and get the other one? You know, it's not super convicted on that take.
Sure. So Log has a super chat for us. Thank you. He says, in a startup right now, 12-team Superflex start 11. Took Jefferson with the 107. How many guys are you taking over the 102? Take any of Garrett Wilson, TLaw, Gibbs, Breece, Bijan, etc.?
Well, I just put out the article today about this exact same thing, and the answer is no,
Nope.
no, and no. 102 would go in the first round of the startup for me, because that's what's the worst spot Caleb Williams comes in at if he's the 102. It's probably ahead of Anthony Richardson, ahead of Jordan Love, right? It's going to be in the first round, so I'm taking that 102 over those guys pretty easily. Only one that is close, if you look at KTC, is actually Bijan. But that's a lot of just ADV, you know. I'm not taking Bijan over the 102. Not even close.
No. Take the flexibility of the pick, and you can buy one of those people that you just listed right there, involving the 102 if you need to at some point.
And Clay, this is a good example of how most of the people that don't have these picks value them. They look at all those players at the bottom going, I need the 101 for every one of those guys. If I have to sell them, stay strong, people.
Yeah.
You're not moving that 101, 102, 103 for those players right now.
Danny is in the craziest startup, like with how the picks have gone. Zay Flowers went in like the mid. It's just bonkers. He's been
Trey McBride went in the first round.
It's crazy. He's been sharing it around. It's the craziest thing ever. And I was like, listen, man, I am not sweating moving up a ton in this league. The inefficient drafting going on right now. Like, look at what is falling, right? So I was like, instead, you know, a pivot here and there could be get an extra 25 first, and he's made some moves, but that's a bonkers startup. Okay. So we answered that. Good stuff. Let's keep moving. Let's go to Ashton Armstead. Thank you for the super chat. I don't recognize this guy. If this is your first time here, nice to meet you. Thank you. 12 teams, Superflex, start 10. Quarterbacks are he's not new. Anthony Richardson and Cans. have the 102, 104, 112 inbox offer. Dak, is that for the 104? No. He gets Dak, yeah, because he only has Anthony Richardson. So he's giving the 104 for Dak. You paying that, Scott? Shaking his head.
No. 104 for Dak? No. I get Jaden Daniels, Drake May. They're all going to come in valued higher than Dak. I could do more with the 104. I could trade it for multiple pieces. No, I'm not doing that deal.
I mean, you also have the 102, so that's not even what I'd be looking at necessarily for trading the 104. It's going to be more flexible. Can I get a better receiver? Like, can I get, I don't know, can I get the Garrett Wilson, Puka Nakua for the 104? Because then I can shift my 102 to I can maybe take a quarterback there. You got to look at these picks in totality versus, man, I need a quarterback and I know I'm going to be able to get one, but I don't really want to draft a rookie. You know what I mean? So don't panic. That's one of those deals where you're going to regret it as soon as we get closer to the draft and you go, hey, anyone want Dak Prescott? And it's like, I'll give you the 112.
Well, yeah, you can see where his head's at here. It's like, okay, well, if I can walk out of this with, let's just say Nabers and Dak, and then whatever he does with the 112, like that's a good day, kind of thing. But yeah, I'd say hold, but try to get a 25 first for that 112 right now. Okay, let's hide this. We already did that one. I'm gonna unstar it. Okay, let's go.
He meant to say sorry. He has the 103 instead of the 102.
So
the list gets even smaller.
Yeah, the 103. Okay, so yeah, but you would pay the 103 for maybe a guy in there, right? No, it's still not.
Was this the?
Remember, this was the
Breece, Bijan, that one.
Bijan, yeah.
I mean, here's the thing.
comes into the mix a touch, maybe. I don't know.
But isn't that wouldn't it be construction dependent if I have Breece or Bijan like that or Gibbs? And I mean, you're getting access to all three of the elite running backs probably right now, but I'm just not in a rush to do it. I'm willing to gamble that aside from Caleb and Marvin, and maybe it's different names, we don't know that for sure. All you need is one more player to jump into that range where people are like, I got to have him. And you're sitting on the gold mine and you really don't want to trade it for Garrett Wilson, who's good, but he's a receiver that's been in the league for a couple years that's going to have limited mobility.
And we know there's going to be another couple players who are going to pop up. And the amount of content is just going to be stupid on the 24 class. And we're going to have a lot of it too, right, boys? Okay, let's go to it's an interesting name here. Deep Space Sleaze. Thank you for the super chat. Okay. 12 team super flex, start 10, half PPR. Herbert, Richardson, Levis, Watson at quarterback. Aiyuk, Garrett Wilson, Olave, Pickens, Nico, Downs. Give Aiyuk in a 24 second. Get Higgins and a 25 first, probably late. Okay, so we don't know where that was. This pretty recent. We don't know where that second is. I guess 45 minutes ago. Well, let's call it a mid-second. Give Aiyuk in a mid-second. Get T. Higgins in a probably late 25 first.
No, I want Aiyuk. I know it seems like it's the process, but Aiyuk is, I don't want to say significantly better than Higgins, but I think he's significantly better than Higgins and will be a more significantly better fantasy asset.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue. I mean, I like Aiyuk a lot, so it's not like it's a negative on him. But I do think there's a range of outcomes where you'd prefer to have the first because I don't care if it's late. It's a first.
Mm-hmm.
It's a first. What can I add now to the Josh Downs share that I have or the Will Levis share that I have or the Deshaun Watson share now that I have a first tacked onto it? You never know. That could get me a receiver alone way better than Aiyuk. And all of a sudden now I have Higgins as a guy I can liquidate. So I don't hate this. I don't hate it. I would do some other stuff before I do this, but I don't hate it. Can I give up? I don't know. I'd sell a couple of your quarterbacks potentially. I'd sell one of Levis or Watson. I'd be fine kind of shopping around if this is the best deal I can get. But I'm a sucker for a process deal like this because it is a first. I mean, how many times have you said late and all of a sudden? Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Aiyuk's good, but in a half PPR, is he a difference maker? Or is it somebody where I could probably plug in Higgins in the same spot and kind of get the same thing. You never know.
Yeah,
I'm good both ways.
listed.
If you said you wanted to
Yeah.
upgrade a receiver, I'm fine doing it. Me
Mhm.
personally, I would not be looking to take a guy like Higgins and tack on a first to go get wide receiver 10 through 20, 10 through 15. That's just not where I want to spend my firsts.
So JD is calling out Shane for being drunk, but it's because Aiyuk is far better than Olave, says JD, and that Shane
agree.
is drunk on oil of Olay.
I like Aiyuk. He's one of my higher owned wide receivers in fantasy football, and it's not. It was organic the way it came about too, right? So it's one of those like I realized I like him more than I thought I did, type of situations. But I do like Aiyuk.
Yeah.
To be fair, I do think Aiyuk is better, but he still doesn't hold that. If I have him, a lot of people want Aiyuk. Feels like I get, because I have a ton of Aiyuk as well. It feels like I get more offers for guys like him than almost any other player. But it's always the person that's looking at a lot of the same data we are and going, man, can I buy him for the 111, 112?
Yep.
So like it's never, you never really get the offer where you go, I'm getting the wide receiver, low end wide receiver 1 price for Aiyuk, whereas there's still a shot that you get it for Olave or somebody likes Olave like that.
You given the 107 for Aiyuk in our normal stock format right now, or would it have to be 108 to do it right now? Or would you not even do 108 right now?
The fact that I'm thinking about either pick, I think that's probably the sweet spot. Would I personally do it? Most likely that's not what I'm trying to do with my picks, but I also have 19% Aiyuk, so I'm not in a rush to. Now, there's other guys in the same tier that I would consider. Like other guys kind of similar to Aiyuk, if I didn't have much of them, I'd consider that. That's a different.
Like Pittman. Would you do Pittman for the 108?
I think Pittman's in there. There's a few others. I mean, DJ Moore is probably in there. So, I mean, if you only have one or two of those guys, I could see you doing it. But
yeah,
that's fair.
We just have a couple more start here. Let's hit these real quick. Cole was in here mad early when I first started up the stream this morning. Inbox trade, give the 101 for Burrow, 12-team Superflex start 11 PPR. Do I need to go further than that, just where your head's at? Are you giving the 101 for Burrow right now?
No.
I mean, the only way I would do it if I was a certain scoring format and I wanted a quarterback.
And
he's got A-Rich and Mahomes.
Yeah, I was about to say he's got no
this doesn't
reason.
make a lick of sense.
And in fact, he needs Marvin Harrison Jr. on this team. Yeah, I mean, he's got Mahomes, A-Rich, Bijan, Garrett Wilson, Godwin, Hollywood. Like I need Marvin Harrison Jr. He says, "Are you adding to A-Rich to get CD?"
No, this feels like you're just making a bunch of moves not to make a bunch of moves. I hate.
I mean, here's the thing. Generally, like Richardson, Burrow, CD, and Marvin Harrison are all kind of in the same tier.
Mm-hmm.
So if you said I really want one over the other, I'd be okay with taking it. But I'm sitting on the 101.
Yeah, and I'm not adding to A-Rich to get the CD.
That's
just I do like CD, but
yeah.
I'm not adding to him.
Yeah, I mean, and what's the asset on there that people want the least of those four? It's probably Richardson and Burrow. So why am I moving off the 101 when I have the asset more people want? So just don't be in a rush to do that, especially when you got two good QPs already.
Fly Bladder had just said, I'm scared to death of holding Kyren through the real draft. What's the lowest first someone would be willing to go to offload him? I think that's what he means. Offload. Yeah. 109 or Kyren, 107 or Kyren.
Either. Here's my take on Kyren. He's a good player. He's a running back. 1,000% they add numerous players that could compete with him. Not saying it's a first or second or third round running back, but like he is what he is. He's a good running back. He's efficient. You're hoping for 200 touches on a good offense as an efficient running back, and maybe he catches more passes next year. That's it. I'm never buying that for a first round pick ever. I can find it cheaper. Which is why when I was sick a couple weeks ago and Shane was in here going, I'm giving up 107 for Kyren Williams, I just wanted to smash the screen. It's the worst time to do that kind of deal, Shane. Have you changed your tune now that Kyren got hurt again in the playoffs, Shane? Are you willing to give up a first for him? 109? Do Do you really want to do that?
109? Yeah, I'll do it.
I think
don't
I
know
would do
about
it. I think
107
I would
now.
do it for 109, 110. I'm not doing 107. I'm not doing 107. I like Kyren though.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last one here is this time of year. Sometimes the fantasy content sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher, but Shane has made me laugh out loud twice tonight. You guys are awesome. No, we
I'll say
appreciate it.
this.
I didn't even say. Let me just say hi to the crowd real quick. 350 people made it in here, even though I so rudely didn't say hi to them and ask them to be so kind as to hit the like. Easiest way to help out the channel. Shane, as you were, sir.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, look, I listen to a lot of content, so I understand what you're going through, and I'd say this is true of basically anytime you listen to us. We're going to be a little bit different than other podcasts that you listen to. We're going to have a lot more theory involved, and sometimes a little more humor that's actually funny and not like just dumbass dad jokes. But just in general, not to toot our own horns. I think that's just us. We're just different than the mainstream or the congruent.
Yeah, I can't wait to go through that. There was some part of the stream tonight that was just trash. I forget what the timeline was, but I don't know what. Like it was just like a bad draw of like 2 poorly written questions, and yeah, just me getting annihilated by my kids today. Okay, I guess that's it, huh? We got to do some more giveaways and stuff, and get some things going, get some leagues going, especially in the Discord. Consider joining Manic and Chill. Our patrons in the Discord had the entire thing 1 through 12 a week ago today, and here we just dropped to the public part number 2 today. Part number 3 will come out later this week, hopefully. But anyway, consider joining the Patreon, patreon.com/allgas, and hit us up for roster reviews. We've been getting a lot of inquiries, so definitely check in, see where you can get on the schedule. Roster review at dynastytradesin5.com, or you can go to dynastytradesin5.com/roster review and see the 3 options we have. So hit us up, man. Hit us up on Didit. Like, whatever, we're around. We're around. Let's look at your squad. Let's make you a better Dynasty player. You want to say bye? I'll say see you guys.
Yeah, it's good stream.
Yeah, appreciate y'all. Sorry that my internet was so choppy tonight.
No, it's all good. It was a good time as always. All right, I'm going to end this stream. Thanks, everyone.
Peace, everyone.